will be invoking the Defense Production Act.
He says he doesn't actually want to use it.
The concept of nationalizing our business is not a good concept.
State leaders like Governor Andrew Cuomo have asked the president to employ the act.
I think the federal government should order factories to manufacture masks, gowns, ventilators, the essential medical equipment that's going to make the difference between life and death.
So the question is, what is the Defense Production Act, and how's it going to help?
On Sunday, June 25th, Communist forces attacked the Republic of Korea. This attack has made it clear beyond all doubt that the international communist movement is willing to use armed invasion to conquer independent nations.
President Truman reported to Congress that the United States and the United Nations were responding to a military invasion of the Republic of Korea by forces north of the 38th parallel. That the nation urgently needed additional military manpower, supplies, and equipment, and that the nation's military and economic preparedness were inseparable. He urged Congress to pass legislation that would guarantee the prompt supply of adequate quantities of needed military and civilian goods, including measures to help compensate for manufacturing demand growth caused by military expansion. In response, Congress passed the Defense Production Act. The act authorizes the president to ensure that domestic industry can meet national defense requirements. But how? Well, Title I of the Act, Priorities and Allocations, requires domestic companies must prioritize federal government contracts for goods and services over competing customers. And also Title III, Expansion of Productive Capacity and Supply. This allows the president to offer incentives within the domestic market to enhance the production and supply of critical materials and technologies when necessary for national defense. So what qualifies as national defense? Now, originally, national defense was exclusively for military preparedness and capabilities, but gradually Congress expanded the term national defense to mean things like terrorist attacks or natural disasters or natural emergencies. The Defense Production Act is historically based on the War Powers Act of World War II, which expanded the president's authority for war-related domestic production contracting. Now, this led to what is known as the production miracle. Here's a clip.
With the money and the might to outproduce the Axis, America embarks on an unprecedented industrial and social revolution.
You had a war industrial board, and they looked around the United States and said, this particular place is going to be where we're going to build tanks, we're going to build planes.
19 million women become the core of the American labor force, working in war factories, transportation, and agriculture across the nation. Manufacturers of all sizes become a critical part of the war effort.
Typewriter manufacturers, canned goods manufacturers, they're all converted, they're all mobilized, if you will, to support the war effort.
Car factories are turned into making bombers, and refrigerator factories are turned into making armored cars.
Not for nothing, it's called the production miracle.
American industry produces 87,000 ships and landing craft, 100,000 tanks and armored vehicles, 300,000 aircraft, 2 million trucks, 20 million rifles and small arms, and 41 billion rounds of ammunition, enough to kill the population of the world 17 times over.
So the question is, how would the Defense Production Act help us today? So these medical face masks originally cost 89 cents per mask. Now, states like New York, California, and Texas all need masks, along with the federal government.
The state of Texas is competing with other states for supplies and competing with the federal government for supplies. And there is more demand than there are available supplies.
So the price of masks went from 89 cents to $7. So by the federal government utilizing the Defense Production Act, they can essentially remove all the other buyers out the market, prioritize their contracts. By doing this in this type of emergency, the federal government would eliminate any of the competition, driving down the cost of masks and all other personal protection equipment, and also ventilators. So this was a super simple explanation of something that's a lot more complex. But I hope you enjoyed this video about the Defense Production Act. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. My name is Nate, lawyer / YouTuber.
Ye out.